You're here also? Let me talk first about, before we get to Yom Kippur, the Aseres Yemei Teshuva, which we're in right now. So it's brought in Halacha that one should be careful with kashrus, even if it's kosher, but it's not exactly 100%. For example, bread from a non-Jewish bakery, even though it has kosher ingredients, called pas palter. So the whole year round, many people are lenient. When it comes to the 10 days of Teshuva we are in right now, they hold back from eating these same foods. So we try to go a step higher, a notch higher in our observance of kashrus. Everyone knows where they can improve, at least through these 10 days. That's one thing. Then comes, of course, the day before Yom Kippur, which is Wednesday. But Wednesday begins from Tuesday night. Already Tuesday night, when you're reading the Shema, you omit the Tachanun because it's considered like a Yom Tov. Erev Yom Kippur is considered like a Yom Tov. Some argue and say it's not only a Yom Tov after we finish. We say sleepless in the morning. We don't say sleepless on Erev Yom Kippur. We don't say sleepless in Chabad throughout the entire days of the 10 days of Teshuva. Other people do. So we consider the entire day and even the night before to be a Yom Tov. We omit Tachanun. Some even have the custom to eat a little more than usual on the night before, meaning this Tuesday night. An obligation is not, but some say that if Tuesday night is part of the day, then we should also eat a little bit extra on Tuesday night as well, besides Wednesday. Okay, so that's that. Now, on Wednesday, yes. You can ask me as many questions as you want. Okay. We'll get there. Before we get there, I want to first mention, what is the reason, where is the source of the mitzvah to eat on Erev Yom Kippur? So it's mentioned in the Shulchan Aruch that the source is actually in Chumash. Because the Torah says, what day do we fast? What day of the month do we fast? What day of the month is Yom Kippur? 10th day. It actually says to fast on the 9th day. Kind of strange. One place it says to fast on the 10th, one place it says to fast on the 9th. So how do you reconcile that? One of the reconciliations is the Torah meant to say, prepare yourself for the fast of the 10th by eating on the 9th. So you should have the strength to fast. To show Hashem's love for the Jewish people, he only gave us one day. Biblically speaking, we only have one day to fast the whole year. Tishrei B'Av is rabbinical. It's mentioned in the Tanakh, but it's not from the Torah. Yom Kippur is the only Torah fast once a year, and it helps us, cleans our whole slate and atones for our sins. It's for our good. And yet Hashem cared about that it shouldn't affect us adversely, so he told us to eat the day before, so we should have the strength to fast on the next day. So when it says to fast on the 9th, it means prepare yourself for the fast. Do something on the 9th that you should be able to fast well on the 10th. In other words, eat. But the question is, I understand the Torah is trying to say to eat so you should fast, but why not just simply say eat on the 9th? And we'll understand the reason for eating is that you should be able to fast the next day. Why does the Torah word the obligation to eat with the word fasting? And here the Alter Rebbe brings something very fascinating from the Gemara, that if you eat on Erev Yom Kippur, it counts as if you fasted, not because you want to fast, because you're on a diet or something, because God says so, even though you really are hungry. It's much easier to eat. It's a much easier mitzvah to fulfill to eat than to fast, right? If you eat on the day of Erev Yom Kippur, you get rewarded. It's counted as if you fasted. It's a fast day. It's actually a fast day that you observe through eating. How's that? Furthermore, How about fasting 2 days in a row? Imagine how difficult that is. You get the schar, the reward, as if you fasted 2 days in a row because the next day is Yom Kippur. And 2 days in a row is much more difficult than 2 days that are not consecutive. So you get the credit of fasting 2 days in a row just by eating on Erev Yom Kippur. Amazing. Now, there's also another reason why we eat on Erev Yom Kippur. You can't eat on Yom Kippur. So how do you honor the holiday? Usually we honor holidays with food. You can't honor Yom Kippur with food. So we honor it by eating a lot on Erev Yom Kippur. Now the question is, what happens if a person is not going to fast on Yom Kippur? Can't. Sick person is sick. Does that person have the obligation to eat on Erev Yom Kippur? The purpose is just to be able to fast better. What happens if you cannot fast? So some say, no, then you don't have to eat. But it's based on preparing for Yom Kippur. You don't have a Yom Kippur. You're not going to be able to fast. Others argue and say, no. The Torah might have given a reason beyond the logic of prepare for the fast. It might be an intrinsic obligation to eat. As I said before, maybe you're eating to honor Yom Kippur. Even though you're going to eat on Yom Kippur, but you're eating as a sick person. That's not called honoring. When you eat as a healthy person, that's called honoring Yom Kippur. This is the replacement of what we would have done on any other holiday. Although we don't make kiddush, there's no obligation to make kiddush every Yom Kippur, or to, well, some say there is an obligation to wash. And we do that. We fulfill that obligation. We are machmir, we're stringent, and we do wash. We'll get to the reason why we eat 2 meals in a minute. So let's summarize. On Yom Kippur, there's a mitzvah to eat, and you're credited as if you actually fasted, not only for that day, but as if you fasted 2 days in a row. Therefore, the person had a very terrible dream. Today, we don't really understand the interpretation of dreams. But if you were to interpret a dream like his Sefer Torah dropped on the floor or it got burned, God forbid, or some other kind of horrible dream, horrifying dream, and he's scared. Many people fast. You can fast even on Shabbos, by the way. If fasting will calm you down and eating will make you nervous because you want to have an atonement, you're allowed to even fast on Shabbos and Yom Tov, but not on Erev Yom Kippur. Why? Because if eating is like fasting, then fasting is like eating. In other words, you don't need to fast. By eating, you're fasting, and it's the same power as a fast day by eating, as we said before. So if you're scared because I had a bad dream, eat, and that will cure your worries. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Now, what's the Seder? Let's go to the Seder. After Rabbi Greenberg discussed kaparas with you already? You didn't? You didn't? Huh? Oh, the other class. Okay. Oh, new girls. You're not the new girl. What's your name? Oh, you're a term counsel. Oh, sorry. You're a pro. My mistake. So kaparas. What? That's right. Okay, kaparas. Why do we choose? Why is the choicest option a chicken? Hen. What's the reason for choosing a hen? Anyone know? You know? What's your name? Last name? Where are you from? You're from here? Went to Beisrivka? So what's the reason? Why is it that we choose a hen over anything else? Reason is because a hen is sometimes called gever. In the bracha we make in the morning, the brachas, one of the brachas happens to be two brachas. One is the person is called a gever. A meichin mitzadi gover. God prepares the steps of man. Now, in also the first blessing, it says lasechvi, and it's lasechvi, but we know that from Mishnah that a tarnagoyl, a hen, tarnagoyl is a hen or a rooster, are also referred to as gover. Kros Hagover. The Kohanim would start their avodah when the hen would start, making its noises. So the name that it's referred to in Halacha is Gover. Since the hen or the rooster, like a human being, is called Gever, it's the best replacement. The idea is it's not going to atone for your sin just because you're going to slaughter the animal, the rooster or hen, but rather, when you look at it, you see blood being spilled. You look at it as it's a replacement for you. That this would have been your fate, but God was kind and He allowed you to have a substitute, a replacement. And that arouses people to Teshuva. So since the only animal that we know, the only live creature that we know has the same name as a human being, is a hen or a rooster, Gever, Gover, either male or female. It could be either a hen or a rooster. It's a name for the general species of a chicken. That's why it was chosen. You can't have, if for some reason you don't have available, you're out of town and there's no way you can do it with a hen or a rooster. Women use a hen, men use a rooster. Then you do it with fish. You could even do it while the fish is in a fish tank or a small tank or a bottle of water and put it over your head like that. And if that's not possible, you can do it with money. But the first choice is to do it with a hen. Now, let me just tell you that shechting, shchita, is the kindest thing. It's the animal feels no pain whatsoever. One of the reasons for a challah, for the knife to be so sharp, is that the pain is extremely minimal, almost null, and the animal is not as dead. And when you shech improperly, the pain causes a secretion of some kind of enzymes that are very unhealthy. Might be not unhealthy for your physically, but unhealthy spiritually for sure. So the shechita eliminates pain. Anyone says it's cruel, it might be unfair by how they treat the chickens before the shechita. That's a separate issue. But the actual shechita itself is the kindest way of taking the life of the hen or rooster. Now, if the shochet, we try to do it, the best time to do it is when? Most opportune time, unique time, auspicious time to be when? Tuesday night or early after Chatzos. And some say the best time would be like 3 o'clock in the morning, around that time. The Rebbe used to do it 7 in the morning. I used to watch the Rebbe at 7 in the morning. The Rebbe used to hold the chickens. Oh, the rooster was so amazing how he held it so calmly. The rooster was like quiet as can be. And the Rebbe was so careful how he held it. He didn't hold it tight with feet, choke it or something. He held it so like he's holding a baby. It's incredible. And it was 7 in the morning, but it could be done in the morning hours, very early morning hours, or middle of the night. Preferably. It doesn't have to be that way. It could be done earlier also. It could even be done before. It could be done tonight also. Aseres Yemei Teshuva. Many people are doing it today already. But the best time is to do it in the middle of the night because that's the time when Rachamim, when Hashem's compassion prevails. That's why we want to do it then. So if you're one person, if you're a woman, you say Zos Chalifasi, not there, but Zos. So Zos Marosi, Zos Kaparosi. If a woman who's pregnant is doing it, so then you want to have, she's pregnant, she might have a boy, she might have a girl. What do? You take 2 female, 2 hen, and 1 rooster. Huh? What's the big question? It's because she, while being pregnant, has an extra load of schusim, but also an extra load of a need for kapara, not because of the baby per se, because of her carrying the baby. So for that part of her, it says uber yerachim, the fetus is part of the mother. So because of that part of her, there's a need for her to have special compassion. A woman who's pregnant is in danger. It's not because that reason. She needs an extra kapara. That's why in leap years, the previous Rebbe was always scared of leap years, pregnant years. You need extra schusim. The Rebbe loved, used to focus on the positive. Another opportunity to make up what we lost. Like the Rebbe used to always use the idea of a leap year as catching up. Bali Tshuva, part of it. Bali Tshuva started late, huh? And I'm not. I haven't done Tshuva yet. So I'm on my way, but I'll make it someday. All right. So what was I saying? Okay, thought. What was I saying before? Right, catching up because the moon. Why don't we make a leap year? We make a leap year because the solar and the lunar keep on going 12 months, Hebrew months. You're going to lose. Pesach will be in the winter pretty soon, right? So you have to make it up every few years, 7 times in 19 years, and with that, you even out. So it's like a Baal Teshuva who starts out late, 19 years old, you come to learn about Yiddishkeit, you know nothing before, or very little before, just traditions. And now you're learning the real McCoy, the real stuff. So you're like the moon. And we got to catch up with the sun, the FFBs. And then you know what? By having a leap year, you actually have an extra month. So you actually, in that year, supersede and bypass the FFBs because of the adrenaline of wanting to accomplish. And I told you about Teshuva, I don't mean to put you down, but Teshuva are much more, take it more seriously because it's new to them. And they really have this oomph. And that extra oomph is like the moon, not only catching up to the sun, but going beyond, an extra 13th month. I'm not doing it just to patronize. I really believe that. I taught lifers, FFBs, both boys and both girls, and both Bali Teshuva and from birth, or Blunja from birth, what you want to call it. So next, we have, do you get dressed up on Erev Kippur? Some say it's a minhag to actually wear your Shabbos clothing on Erev Kippur too. The custom is that we wait until the meal. Some will say before mincha. It's not too clear when before the meal actually would be the first meal would be a good time. If that's difficult, you don't want to, put on your new clothing so early, before mincha, which is the first time we say al chet. Yeah. Okay. Now the first meal is a yontif meal, regular yontif meal. Second meal we eat is because we want to make a hefsek, an interruption between the eating and the fasting. So we do it with a meal as well. Finalizing, this is our last meal. Doesn't mean that after you eat your sudas hamafsekas, it's not the final meal, but you can't eat anymore. What happens if you finish? It's long before sunset. So if when you ate, you said, this is it, you have that in mind to accept the fast, then you can't eat anymore. So you're supposed to verbalize, or at least in your mind, say to yourself, if I get hungry or thirsty, I'm going to still be able to eat or drink after I finish my sudas hamafsekas. We do that also on Tishrei. We also have a second meal break. Whenever you have a fast at night, it starts at night, going twice a year, Tishrei and Yom Kippur, we have a special suda called sudas hamafsekas. I wanted to mention, going back to the kaparas, I forgot to mention a few things. You can actually take a chicken in the box. If you don't like holding the chicken, you want to hold the chicken in the box, you can do that as well. If you want someone else to do it for you, it's okay. Husbands can do it for their wives. Wives can do it for their husbands when they want. The husband's a little sissy and he's scared of holding the chicken. She can do it for him. I haven't seen that, but I've seen the other way around. Now the halacha is, what happens if she happens to have had an ultrasound and she knows she has twins? It's a question whether she's mechuyev to take, an extra one for the twin. It's not clear what the final ruling is. But let's say she has an ultrasound and she knows that her child is a female or a male. So then the question is, does she need to take an extra one? So that's also a question. Interesting question. Al pi halacha, you can even have one chicken, one hen for 2 females, and 1 rooster for 2 males. If you can't afford to have 2, it counts. It's not terrible if you therefore only do 1 female and one male. If she's pregnant, one female goes for her and the possible female child, and the rooster would be for a possible male child. That would be okay if you're limited in your finances or whatever you don't have available. And many chickens is fine. But we try to do for every single person, every single baby or person, every single child, an extra hen or rooster. Then we stand by the shochet. So it should be done when the shechita is taking place. We want to watch the shechita. That's important. If you don't have that, you're missing that component. It doesn't mean that you don't have it, you were not going to, but it's better to be able to do it at a time when the shochet will shech. And when he shechs, give him a tip. And you are mekayim a mitzvah of kisei hadam. You cover the blood with sand, with what they have there available, and you make a bracha before you do that, al kisui dam ba'afar, I think it is. It's in the siddur. The reason for it is interesting. Well, the reasons why we cover the blood, I won't get into that right now. It's a lot of halacha we have to learn. Now, men have we get hit, we get malchus before davening mincha. Go to the mikvah, mincha. There's three men's: malchus, mikvah, mincha. That's the order. It's not for women. And the guy who's getting hit faces the north. That's where all the evil comes from. So mitzvah the pasuk hara. You bend down, and the person hitting you doesn't hit you hard. Your top right. In case you see it, I like to know you should know what you're seeing. Top right, near the shoulder. Top left, and then the middle back. And each one, the hitter, the one who's hitting you, and the one who gets hit, says v'hu rachum yichaper avon. There are 13 words. You get hit 3 times. Go around 3 times. 13 times 3 is 39, equaling the amount of malchus that we get. Malchus is 39 lashes. So it's a reminder, doesn't hurt, but it's a reminder to be humble. That had you been living in those days, you might have had to have been lashed the real way. Women don't need that because women have a natural tendency of feeling brokenhearted easier than men. Men are machos, and they always think I told you once before, male versus female. I know it's off the subject here. I get in trouble, but one of the ways of I did it quite a few times and it came out. I was right. It worked. You ask if you a servant. You ask a man or ask a woman, where would you feel more angry? Say someone accused you of being a thief. Remember that? And it's true. Or it's not true. Where would you be more angry if it's at that person? He's not spreading it. He's not going to spread it. No one's going to know about it, just between you and him. So there's no repercussions. Just he knows, or she knows, she or he, and she tells you, she says, you are a thief. It's not true. Or it is true. Where would you feel more hurt? So men answer one way, women answer another way. I'm not going to ask you. But men usually answer, if it is true, I am more angry. How dare you know my faults? Bad enough I have to know my faults. You have to know my faults? It hurts my ego. Men are very ego-driven. And when you remind them of their faults, they get very angry. Women are more truth or driven. And when it's true, they feel bad, but they don't feel angry or resentful as much. When it's not true, how dare you accuse me of something I didn't do? Makes sense. So women have this natural feeling of emes, they're driven towards the emes, they don't need to be hit. Today at least. That's that. Then there's also, men go to the mikvah quite a few times, I'm not going to talk about that. There's also, interestingly, men do not eat eggs throughout the day. I don't want to get into the reason is because it increases something that we don't want him to have problems with during the Yom Kippur day, and eggs or anything spicy can cause that problem. So it's for men. So you see men avoiding eating certain foods. Eggs is one of them, or any hot or spicy food. It's for that reason. Okay, now Kol Nidre. You know the famous story with the Rebbe for Kol Nidre? Esther? Maya? What's your name now? Principal? I've got my first name. Ruffle? You know the famous before Kol Nidre story? Anyone know? Can't see well. You know? Our Rebbe. Look, you want to tell you the story? Yeah? It'll take time. I'm learning. Tell your story anyways. It's a phenomenal story. I heard this from Rabbi Y.Y. Jacobson, who heard it from the guy himself. Feivel Shapiro, his name is. His mother was a Satmar from Satmar. His father was Vishnitz. And he used to go to Bells. And the storyteller was Rabbi Jacobson, who was Lubavitch. But it's interesting. So Rabbi Feivel Shapiro was one of 12 children. And he heard a lot about Chabad. He decided in the early 70s to come to a Purim Farbrengen. sitting in the front of bringing. He's wow. He's wowed by the Rebbe's speaking without notes for 6-7 hours. Went on from 9:30 till 3:30 in the morning. He decided he's going to run up to the Rebbe's near the Rebbe's room, and when the Rebbe comes up, he'll shake the Rebbe's hand, wish him Yom. So he does that, and the Rebbe comes upstairs, and he puts his hand out like that, and Rabbi Greenberg stops him. It's not time right now. The Rebbe just rang 6 seconds. It's not the right time. No, he admonished him. Come on down. Okay, sorry. Shocked, because the way all the other Rebbes, that's what you do. You shake hands with him. Didn't realize the Chabad is a little different. The Rebbe saw that he's getting uncomfortable. The Rebbe went like that, shook his hand, took him with both hands, and brought him into his room. The Rebbe took a seat, brought the seat, please sit down. The Rebbe opened up his drawer, took out a key, went to the file cabinets, took out a letter. Read this letter, he tells him. He's overwhelmed. He wasn't expecting this. He reads the letter. It's a letter that his mother was about in the early 60s. She was 36 years old. She contracted a terrible machla, breast cancer, and it spread. And the doctors gave her no hope. She writes to the Rebbe, brokenhearted, Rebbe, I've made peace with my fate. I know I'm not going to live. But I'm worried about my children. I want them to grow up healthy, wholesome, Yerushalayim, Torah scholars, Torah learning, healthy in every sense. But I need someone to take care of them. I don't have that. So I need your prayers, Rebbe. And your tears, see on the actual page itself. So it still showed up many years later. And the Rebbe, watching him read, and this guy gets emotional. His mother's name is Rachel Shapiro. And he's overwhelmed with emotion. He starts crying. He sobs. After he finishes sobbing, he asks the Rebbe, I don't know much about my mother. She died when I was very young. Can I keep this? And surprisingly, the Rebbe said no. Why not? The Rebbe said, because before I go down to Kol Nidre, I read your mother's letter every single year. I cannot start my Yom Kippur without reading this letter. Now, he never saw the Rebbe before. He never wrote to the Rebbe before. The first time he ever came to a Fomrengen, and the Rebbe notices that he is the son of this woman who wrote the letter. How? He says, I'll never forgive myself for not asking the Rebbe, how did you know who I was? Why did I ask? Why didn't I ask? How did you know? I never saw him before. Very emotional, but I couldn't. I was too emotional for two things. Number one, when I read my mother's letter for the first time, I saw her handwriting and I saw what she was writing and how brokenhearted she was about me. And number two, Rebbe reads my mother's letter. Wow. Before he starts Yom Kippur, the Rebbe used to bless the Bachrin in a room cramped with thousands of people. It was the most incredible experience I've ever had in my life. Where the Rebbe is putting his house and giving us brachas, especially for the Bachrin. The Balabatim got brach in the afternoon. Another whole story. But the Bachrin got, and the Rebbe is like crying and being very emotional, giving what was brach blessing. Right after this is right before Kol Nidre. Upstairs, not downstairs in the shul way down, upstairs. And then the Rebbe would go into his room, and there'd be like a 5 or 10 minute break. What's the Rebbe doing? Why doesn't he just go downstairs right away to daven for Kol Nidre? No one knew. Rabbi Jacobson says, and I think he's right. The Rebbe was reading this woman's letter, and not reading it like you read, Tillim. He was reading it and getting his whole heart into that letter, as a Rebbe can. That's the story. Powerful story. Kol Nidre. Kol Nidre. What's Kol Nidre? It's a declaration of annulling all our vows, all the promises, all the commitments we made should be absolved, should be canceled, should be null and void as if we never made them before. Doesn't sound too you know, you're connecting to the spirit of Yom Kippur. Sounds like you want to get yourself off. All our oaths are no oaths. All our commitments are no commitments. Quite funny, no? What's this? And people get so aroused when you hear the niggin of Kol Nidre. Kol Nidre. And it's nothing to get excited about. Wow. All my commitments are no commitments. All my oaths are no oaths. So there's many that say that the Moranos, Jewish people during the Spanish Inquisition, were forced to make vows, and I mean they were forced, their lives were, and they couldn't stand by the test, and they converted outwardly, and they vowed where we are Christians, and we believe in all this. They verbalized those words and made a vow, promises. They were very uncomfortable with that. People looked down at them. Many people did, although you can understand them, but they didn't do what many Jews did, even non-religious Jews, giving their lives away not to convert. They did convert. But even the Christians, they looked down at them and called them Moranos, pigs, because they knew that they're not sincere. But they couldn't do anything. They couldn't prove it. So they would hide. They would clandestinely. They would go into the shuls and they would beg that all their vows they made to the idols, to idolatry, should be null and void. That's what we're crying about. That's the emotion. That's what some say. The problem is that Kol Nidre started way before the Spanish Inquisition. So what was the... So I can share with you something very interesting. The Kohen Gadol, when he davened, one of his tefillahs that he said, strange one, talks about there shouldn't be any famine. Okay, that sounds makes sense. And no woman should lose her child, should miscarry. No stillborn children. Every pregnancy should materialize into a healthy child. Why that at all? What about women who are infertile, that they should be able to have children? So many things you could have asked. Why that? Then he says, the famous words, Hayom Haras Olam. Today is the birthday of the world. We say that on Rosh Hashanah too. Kippur is also like Rosh Hashanah. Today is but the word haras doesn't mean birthday. Haras means pregnant. Hirayon. A woman who's pregnant, you say in Hebrew, hirayon. Hey, Reish, Yud, Vav, Nun. Haras comes from that etymology. And you know what? It's taken from Yirmiyah. You know what Yirmiyah is? How do we translate Yom Haras Olam? Today is the birthday of the world. Olam means the world. You know what the real meaning of these three words are? Look in Yirmiyah. Jeremiah. Yirmiyah. It says like this. Yirmiyah was very unhappy with himself. I wish I never was born. I wish I would have been pregnant and my mother forever and never have come into life. Hayom, if only today, haras, my mother's pregnancy would last forever, meaning, in other words, I would never be born. I would be a stillborn child because my life was miserable. So he's talking about, the word olam doesn't mean world, it means forever, like olam va'ed. I only wish I would never have been born. And we take that and we translate it, distort it. We translate those three words, today is the birthday of the world. Not pregnant, but birthday. Olam doesn't mean forever, olam means the world. So in short, here's the answer to all the questions. What the Kohen Gadol is praying for is not just for a woman who's pregnant physically. I'm talking about all of us. We all go through aspirations in life and dreams, and we all have potential. Pregnancy is like potential child. Whenever you have potential, and you just need to activate that potential. Potential is pregnancy, activating it, making it real, materialize, is birth. The problem is there are people that are stuck and all their dreams and all their aspirations, I mean good ones, Jewish ones, die in utero. They don't ever come to fruition. They don't believe that they can get out of it. They're stuck in limbo. And I can't, you don't know me, you don't know who I am, you only know my past. Why don't I talk to my sister? You know who my sister is. My mother, you know who she is. My father, if you only know why, you would never be asking me questions. In other words, we make vows to ourselves. We make vows. I cannot do this. It's impossible. So these are the vows that we nullify. When it comes to Yom Kippur, when we reach the Kodesh HaKadoshim, and our neshamas are on fire, we have that holiness. Yes, we have problems. We have all kinds of obstacles, but your neshama is stronger than all those obstacles. Who you are better than your obstacles. They're real. Obstacles are real. There are a lot of things, and there are reasons why people have issues. It's not made up. But you are stronger. The chedek of the kam yimal mamash is stronger. You have to remember that. And if you would only annul your vows and stop saying I can't, but say I could, then the pregnancy turns into a birth. And that's what the Kohen Gadol was davening for. No one should waste his potential and never put it into action. Believe in yourself. Believe in what you can accomplish in life, meaning spiritually speaking. It's everything, but mainly in your Yiddishkeit. Don't think I cannot, it's too hard for me, I can't. You can do a lot more than you think. So we take what Yirmiyah said and we transform the pregnancy into birth and forever into the birthday of the world. We should have a new life, a new chayis. Okay, that's called Nidre. Now, what time is it? What are we laying about? What do we read about in the Kriyas Torah? The next morning we read what? Does anyone know? Rachel? Maya? What's the Kriyas Torah of Yom Kippur morning? Good to know. Don't know. Don't remember. You once upon a time knew. So the morning Kriyas Torah is it fits apropos to Yom Kippur. It's all about the Parshas Aseres Yemei, all about the avodah, the Kohen Gadol on Yom Kippur, the whole procedure, what he did those days, and that's what we read. But the afternoon, what do we read in the afternoon? Yeah, the promiscuous, disgusting, immoral sexual activity, incest, adultery, homosexuality, bestiality. Come on Yom Kippur, when the essence of a Jewish neshama is on fire, we have to talk about such things. Are we teasing him? Are we laughing at him, saying, "Yeah, we know who you are. Don't play any games. Yom Kippur here, Yom Kippur there. We know the real you. What's lurking behind the scenes?" Is that what we're trying to tell him? Chas v'shalom. The Rebbe once cried when he asked this question. God forbid to think that Hashem is doubting our sincerity and telling us to, open up the real truth, open the curtains and see the real you. On the contrary, the real you is the feeling of Yom Kippur. Yechida, that's the real us. So then why are we reading all this? Here's the answer. The answer is it's the best time. Because after Yom Kippur, what's going to happen after Yom Kippur? Yom Kippur, you're right. You're on fire. Your neshama's on fire. You reach the peak of the summit of your neshama. No one's questioning the sincerity of a person's, emotional feelings on Yom Kippur. No question. But what's going to be after Yom Kippur? Are you going to be able to sustain and keep it going? Probably not. What's going to happen after Yom Kippur? All kinds of pop-ups. Who knows what kind? All kinds of desires, including even the worst. So on Yom Kippur, when you're strong, when you're on your strongest, you're fortified with energy, Yom Kippur energy, with the Kodesh HaKadoshim. Here is where you say to all those pop-ups that might come up later, and we say, no, lo yilecha, no, my dear, don't even think of showing up after Yom Kippur, Mr. Yetzirah. I'm already negating you right now when I have my strength. If you stand on top of the Twin Towers, you look down, you'll laugh at all these little creatures. We have the spiritual Twin Towers. Yom Kippur, look down at all these tigers and we say, Feh, don't you even think of coming back? So we preempt. That's the idea. We don't only think about the present, about the now, we're into the future also. What's the name of the parsha? Aseres Yemei. After the death of whom? Sons of Aaron. What was their problem? They sinned. What kind of sin did they do? They got too close to God. They expired in ecstasy. It's a great feeling. What's going to be after you? What's going to be after that? You'll be dead. And you'll no longer have any connection to this world. You won't fulfill your mission in this world. It's wonderful to have the extreme, excitement about God, but you have to remember what's going to be afterwards. Acharemos. Okay, we're finished. Acharemos. Same idea. On Yom Kippur, we have to think about the aftermath after Yom Kippur, and not just think about, wow, now I'm holy, and take all that strength and shoot guns at the desires, the negative desires that might show up the next day, so that you sustain, you keep Yom Kippur alive even after Yom Kippur. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you tomorrow, right? Tomorrow, we'll talk more about, we have a lot of halacha to finish. Tomorrow I want to learn also a little bit about Sukkot. A lot more Yom Kippur than Sukkot too.